The next person I have the pleasure of knowing personally, and I would like to, they give you the canned stuff, but I would like to give you a personal story about this person. When I was first elected to city council, it was kind of frightening and overwhelming because, I was first elected, and I was getting to know people in the community and learning about the planning commission and what developers do and the home building association. And Dan Dorn was kind enough to call me and invite me out to look at some houses with him. And we walked around and we talked about the challenges of being a developer and the housing market and how it worked and how subdivisions were planned and, the basic nuts and bolts of these things. And these are all really important things to understand. And we also talked about being on the planning commission and how hard it was at times to be the chair, because there are a lot of angry people who come to planning commission sometimes, and unhappy people. And when you're the chair of an organization like that, you have to deal with them respectfully and calmly, and you also have to deal with members of the planning commission as well and make sure that people get fair and equitable decisions. And I never worried about that when Dan Dorn was chair of the planning commission. And many times I would call Dan, and Dan would always call me back and give me good information and help me understand those difficult problems. And I would just like to personally thank you for the many, many, many nuggets of advice that you gave me over the years. And I was very sorry to see you leave as chair, and I hope you still stick around. And I'd also like to compliment your wife on her name, because her name is Laura too. So, good name. So I'll read the canned stuff. Dan Dorn served on the Salem Planning Commission for 8 years, and that's like 8 years in a Siberian gulag to some people. He was president of the commission 6 years. During his time on the Planning Commission, Dan was always a strong voice for inclusion, civility, and fairness to all those who came before that body. Dan's leadership was a key reason for the successful outcome of the recently completed Neighborhood Center mixed-use zone, which we voted on Monday night and passed, I'm happy to say, and can't wait to see it unroll. Dan was an important player in the Neighborhood Task Force that met during 2007 to 2008 to explore ways to strengthen neighborhood association participation and involvement. Dan also continues to serve Salem by leading the Unified Development Code Advisory Committee, which is not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's really important. Dan's commitment to helping with this major code cleanup is evident by his willingness to spend many hours meeting with staff and public and lending his expertise on building and development. Dan is a true gentleman who deeply cares about his community and continues to give back every day. I want to note that this award is shaped like a stop sign. That does not mean stop doing what you do. I really would like to, it gives me great pleasure to give this award to Dan Dorn. Dan, would you come up here and get your award?
Thank you, Laura. Very nice words. Like Paul, I have to recognize someone who's already been recognized just a minute ago. But when I decided that I wanted to step up my involvement with volunteering for the city of Salem, Laura, my wife Laura, and I talked about it, and she said yes. It's important to do this, and so I'll tell you what. I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll wash the car, I'll clean the cat box and do everything that's needed at home, and you go do what you need to do, because it's really important to do it. And so off I went, but as I turned around, I noticed she got on the board of directors of the Realtors Association. She got on the board of directors of Habitat for Humanity, and she's the current president of Habitat, and she's right there. And but this is really nice. I am surprised. I did not know that this was coming this evening. what I would like to say is the volunteering for the city has been easier than you might think. There is a spirit of cooperation that exists currently between the mayor, the city council, the business community, city staff, and the civic organizations and neighborhood groups. And I have to say that it hasn't always been that way. But the last few years it has, and it's because of the cooperation and the efforts of all of those individuals, all those groups. I also want to point out city staff is excellent. They always help with any question or concern that we have on the Planning Commission. They are always very helpful. They are trying to be a part of the solution and not be in the way, and that has made it really nice and easy and to work and volunteer for the city. So thank you very much for this. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,